Preparing live stream, the host has started broadcasting the meeting on YouTube.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Allah, we are starting a new surah, Surah Quraysh. We have been going through revelational order, so this is again an early Meccan surah, 29, 24 different numbers.
28?
Yeah. It has been 2 years, alhamdulillah. And again, Surah Quraysh is one of the short surahs with just 4 verses. But early Meccan surahs are very dense with few verses but many meanings. So inshallah, we will try to go as much as we can for ourselves. Let me first read the surah once. لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, for the covenants of security and safeguard enjoyed by the Quraysh. إِلَافِهِمْ رَحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ, their covenants or their security journeys by winter and summer, or them being secured in their journeys by winter and summer. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, and let them worship the Lord of this house, الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ, who provides them with food against hunger and with security against fear. That is the surah, just 4 verses. And inshallah, I would like to read it first in 2 ways. Like the first, let's try to see how it's generally understood within its historical context. Because Quran is revealed to certain people in a certain time. So how they understood it in the first place, or they could have understood it in the first place. But then also Quran is speech of an absolute creator. So it's a timeless message. So I should be able to read it as if it is being revealed to me today, here and now. Then I would say, what does this say to me? Who is Quraysh for me and whatnot? So we are going to read it in the second case as well. So first, let's, since explicitly it's talking about Quraysh, who is Quraysh? We start from there. Let me give some historical background for who Quraysh was. So Quraysh was an Arabian tribe. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is from the tribe too, who were the protectors of Kaaba. So what made them distinctive was their, what do they say? Protection of, or there's a nicer word, but I forgot. Guardianship of Kaaba and Mecca. And what makes Mecca is again Kaaba. So again, let's give a little more history here, because Quran mentions that history too. So Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded by the Creator to take his wife and son in a deserted place, which is this location, Mecca. And back then, there was nothing in there, literally nothing, not even this building. It was just a dry, barren land. And he left them there, and he's commanded to go back without looking back. And he made a dua in there to Creator, saying that, oh Allah, make this land prosperous. So Arabs, as we know them today, are descendants of this son who is left there. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, let's again give a little bit of more history. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is father of Ismail and Ishaq, Isaac. Ishaq's son is Yaqub, and from Yaqub comes Bani Israel, like Israelites. And Jewish tradition comes from there. When it comes to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he's coming from, again, from the same root, Ibrahim alayhi salam, but coming from Ismail, the son who is left in Mecca. So Ismail alayhi salam in this case is really like the cousins with Jews in this case. And since this pure blood is a major thing in Judaism, Ismail is pure blood still, in a sense that he is from Ibrahim alayhi salam's lineage, but his wife was not. This is where the Arabs became, though. This is why Jews would consider Muslims, or let's say Islamic faith, as not pure as they are. This is why you wouldn't see any Muslims to be proud of nation in the sense that it is happening within Judaic tradition. So Quraysh are people who are being made by Ibrahim's son Ismail. But who is Ibrahim? And what makes Quraysh important is, again, protection of Kaaba. Reference of Quraysh in here is pretty much all about Kaaba. But what is Kaaba? Kaaba is just a stone, like very primitive stone building, inside of which is empty. But it's called House of God. What does this mean? Like an empty stone, a primitive empty stone structure being made as a house for the Creator. What does this signify? Before putting you to sleep, let me ask you that question. What do you think Kaaba is signifying? Why is it an empty structure? Why not something fancy?
That's not the point. Like,
that's not
the building itself is not the point.
Okay.
It's the signifying that there is a creator.
It's signifying there's a creator.
Because if it was fancy, the attention would be drawn to the fanciness of that thing instead of the underlying meaning.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, very similar. Like there's it could be that there's nothing that can contain it. Like it shouldn't be contained anywhere as to not confuse God with where he lives. Like it's not where he is, he's everywhere. Like he's saying, it's not the point.
So yes, and it's called House of God, right? And knock the door. Hello, God, are you here? No, he's not. So
Miriam has joined the meeting.
Okay, somehow we need to stop this. Okay, anyways, I think I can do this. Okay. So God is not there, but it's called House of God. What's the point, right? So Ibrahim alayhi salam built this building as a place of worship. So Kaaba is really signifying oneness of the Creator, saying that this existence has a maker, has a creator. He's unlike anything, cannot be like anything. Yet human is in need of physically demonstrating his appreciation of that maker somehow. Like my question in here is more so in the lines of, why do we need a material manifestation of a house of God in the first place? Like if God, since God is absolute, why do we even need a place to call as house of God, for example? Any idea? Since God is absolute, why do we need even this house? If it's not going to contain the Creator, which it does not, yes. But why do we need that? Or do we need that? I mean, definitely we must have, so that it's put there by a prophet. But what was the point?
I'm talking about Kaaba specifically.
Say it again.
Are you talking about the
Kaaba, yes. Because what makes Quraysh is Kaaba. Like the reason that Quraysh is being mentioned in here is they were specifically like what distinguished them. If you take Kaaba away, Quraysh becomes miserable because their main source of income was like travelers coming there made Mecca a trade center. Like pilgrims coming to Mecca made this location a trade center. And then being kind people, kind hosts to pilgrims, made them trustworthy people among Arabs. So they respected them. They didn't declare war against them. But really, if you take away Kaaba from Quraysh, Quraysh is no one. So what makes Quraysh Quraysh is Kaaba. And we'll get there, but what is the significance of Kaaba in the first place? Why do we need Kaaba? Yeah. We have a center of worship. Do we need a center of worship? What do you think?
I would say, especially back then, because.
And even today, do we need that? So, because the question is more so in the sense of it's a material thing there. But belief in the creator is you are being convinced that a being must exist who is unlike anything. But how do I demonstrate this conviction? Can I demonstrate this conviction without physically getting engaged? So Kaaba, being a physical building, in a sense, is saying that you reach this conclusion, this iman, that there must exist a creator and one and only creator. But you will need to demonstrate it somehow for yourself in your life. Like you're going to pray to the creator, then you turn in a direction and everybody turns in the same direction to signify oneness, also in a physical manner. My general example for that is like, if I love my brother Birkan, when I enter the room, I just keep doing my job, then he would say, well, what's wrong with the guy? So what do? I just go and make a like, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Just hug with each other. Like you're, okay, you have love in your heart, but you're manifesting it in a way that it's demonstrating it and also cultivating it. So this is how human is. Like, for example, I do not say that tomatoes are a way that I get to know my creator is my sustainer. I got the point. And I'm not eating any tomato. Do I do that in my life? No. By engaging with act of eating, I get to experience and become appreciative of my maker, of my creator. So this is a fundamental part of life. This is how human is. So Kaaba, although it's a symbol, but it's a symbol around which we physically go and turn. So there's a conviction, there is a meaning that it symbolizes, but to realize its symbolism, you go and physically get into the act of pilgrimage. So this is why in my life, such a thing is done. But as Natalia said, and also Ahmed said, it's a simple building. Also to highlight that it's not the thing itself that matters. It's the thing that what it symbolizes matters. So do not get caught with the thing itself. It's just an empty building, a super primitive building. But in your life, keep awareness that you are turning around the truth, because we turn around Kaaba 7 times, right, to make tawaf, you throughout your life, you're going to have this journey of turning around Tawheed. It's not going to be the same thing you're turning around. Your life should be concentrated around this Tawheed. So Quraysh was made Quraysh, yes.
Just maybe avoid the danger of equating such a symbolizing or the symbols with like the symbols of God, the idols. Right? Is it another type of symbols we know people would use, having idol of God representing God, a physical representation, so that I would be engaged. I guess so. Here, if I correctly understood you, please correct me if not. The Kaaba does not symbolize the creator or creator actions or anything. Like we call it the house of God, but what it symbolizes is the physical manifestation of my conviction of Tawhid, the oneness. It symbolizes that I am, as a human being, having a relationship with my creator, implementing it in my life. This physical building otherwise does not represent God, or does not represent the quote unquote throne of God or anything. It represents the Ibrahim alayhi salam's the conviction of Tawhid, oneness.
Very well said. Alhamdulillah. So Kaaba is symbolizing La ilaha illallah, like Tawheed. It's symbolizing Tawheed. And for me, turning around this, I will remind myself that my life is going to be rotating around Tawheed. And when in my prayer, when I turn towards Tawheed, I am saying that this is my compass, this is my target. Tawheed is my target in my life. So this is why physically and in prayer, having specifically doing this, it's more so like reorienting myself. Because practical, isn't it? Sometimes you have a special ring or a special, I don't know, like you tie something to your finger to remind you something. Yes, the thing is in your mind, but you forget it. But physically having it somewhere, when you just your hand touches it or something, then you remember what's happening. As being a human, this is part of me. So Tawheed is now being reminded to me by Kaaba. So Quraysh, Kaaba makes Quraysh Quraysh. And they are those specific Arab tribe, yet in that tribe, at least historically, they are the way Islam has developed. Nationalism is not part of what is being done. But at the time of when the Prophet ﷺ came, this is why he also came for. Although Jews never forgot their prophets, for Arabs, Abraham was a hero, but not a prophet anymore. Like at the time that the prophet came, they were idol worshippers. Religion was forgotten to a huge majority of them. It was not part of the deal. So Prophet ﷺ is coming. Then what did Kaaba become at this moment? Kaaba become place of idols, as Brother Birkan was saying. It became seat of their false gods. And a false god was every tribe had their own idol. So it sort of became them worshiping themselves. Like I worship my tribe's idol, you worship your tribe's idol. So like having national gods simply means we are worshiping our own collective ego. So this is where now Quran is coming to remove this. So let's go back to the verses. So historical Quraysh is such people. And they are benefiting from this being guardian of Kaaba. And this surah is saying that لِإِلَافِ Quraysh, for the protection, security of Quraysh, إِلَافِهِمْ رَحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ, their protection and getting used to ilaf is being used in both ways, this word ilaf. For the winter and summer journeys. This is traditionally translated as people of Quraysh used to go to Sham, north in summer, and to south Yemen in winter, and they were having those travels in security. Since they were people of Kaaba, people were not messing up with them, so they were in security. So in reading it in its historical context, translators say that Quran is saying that due to them being provided with this protection, then the next verse says, I'm going to go to the next verse, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Then they should immediately worship the Lord of this house, because Lord of this house is protecting them, providing them in their journeys north and south, just because of the house itself. Therefore, shouldn't they worship the Lord of the house rather than worshiping other idols? And then الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف is the one who provides them with food against hunger and security against fear. So this is how it was mentioned to them, how it applies to them. Okay. But now we are reading this today in Philadelphia, and now it is 2024. What is the significance of Quraysh to me? There is Quraysh. When my creator says, oh, Quraysh, what does it signify in my life? What does Kaaba signify in my life if I'm going to go back with Quraysh? Because in here, Quraysh is a symbol of Kaaba as well. Because Kaaba is a symbol, but Quraysh is here being mentioned as Quraysh just because Kaaba and how Kaaba has benefited them. So what is the significance of Quraysh and Quraysh being getting accustomed to or getting saved from?
Maybe in a harmony. So the security state come from the, like as you said, the word is familiarity. Right? So being in a harmony with things. So this type of security, like having a peace of mind.
Yes. So just to give them a little bit of detail in there. So ilaf is basically can mean two things. The first one is like being in agreement with other groups, other states, so that they're not going to attack you. So
Being allies.
Being allies. So it's providing you security from their harm. The second one is you being familiar with somebody else. Like friends are having ulfa, having this friendship, familiarity with each other. So then Quraysh is being given security and also familiarity. In terms of what? In terms of رحلة الشتاء والصيف, journey of winter and summer. So now let's apply to ourselves, because we don't go to Sham in summer, in summertime, and to Yemen in wintertime for making trade. So what is this rihla, journey, that we go through? That was a form, looking at form there. So shall we pray now, or shall we pray at 7:30? Is it going to be late for you guys if we pray at 7:30? It is. لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف. Now, Quraysh, I'm not from Quraysh, you're not from Quraysh. I don't think anybody in here is from Quraysh. So how my creator is not directly speaking to me. How shall I take this? When he mentions Quraysh and the familiarity or protection of Quraysh in journeys by winter and summer. And we said Quraysh, Kaaba makes Quraysh, Quraysh. So, and Kaaba means Tawheed. So what does this tell me? Yeah.
I might but that we would also be part of Quraysh, just thinking about the Ummah and how we kind of also protect the meaning we give the Kaaba. around the world. Like we like all agree on the meaning, and therefore it is what it is.
Okay, so in a collective level, maybe, but an individual level, how would you take it?
Like people of Kaaba. Is what I
Yeah, this meaning is more like people of Kaaba. Yeah.
First, I guess, for knowledge. Or
Knowledge, okay.
For money, for family, for wealth, anything that we have, even health that we take, where you find security or comfort with other people,
Mhm.
from these things that you might have, that you associate most of the time with yourself as holy.
Mhm.
But in reality, I guess one could ask, so why not? Why then do you not worship the Lord of that, like the one that gives you hope, the one that gives you love, the one that gives you life?
Mhm.
The first thing is the one who gives you.
So in this case, Quraysh would be you, but what makes you Quraysh? What is your Kaaba? So there needs to be some Kaaba in you, which makes you Quraysh, and you're going to be protective of, or at least responsible for the protection of this Kaaba, the symbol of Tawheed, so that it's going to be a significant thing. So otherwise, if you take Kaaba away, Quraysh is no one. If we take away this thing from you, you're going to become someone that's not significant, no one. So as a human being, now since Kaaba itself is a symbol, let's talk about what is a symbol in me, which is like Kaaba, which is at the center of my humanity as a human being. So at the center of being a human being, you have, that's why it's generally mentioned as heart. Like physically speaking, your heart is at the center of yourself, because if we stopped for a moment, your life dies. But also in your spiritual being, that's why they call it qalb for both. Like it is the name of this organ, as well as it's being mentioned that you have a spiritual qalb as well, like which is the very center of your humanity, center of your feelings. And this thing is made for Creator. Like in Hadith Qudsi, Creator says, I haven't been fit into heavens and earth, but I fit into the heart of my servant. Like heart is another Baytullah, if you like. Your heart is made as a house for the Creator to dwell, metaphorically speaking. But this is where the Creator is saying that I made this place for myself. Your heart is made for the Creator, to get to know the Creator, to get to love the Creator, to interact with the Creator. But what do I do? As the people of Quraysh did back in the day, or the Arabs back in the day did, they put idols in this space. It was made to symbolize oneness of the Creator, but they put idols in this Kaaba, saying that we worship those that dwell in the house, not the Lord of the house, but they were worshiping this alternative dwellers that they put in there. Artificially, they put them in there. And in our lives, I put things into my heart as well. I put my career in my heart. I put my family in my heart. Sometimes I put my soccer team, like the favorite team, in my heart. Whatever it is. Or sometimes, let's say, I lose my phone, or I lose my favorite purse, or whatever it is. I feel super upset because it was in my heart. Like its loss is becoming so big of a loss for me. Sometimes it's loss of a friend. Sometimes it's loss of a very insignificant thing. But you would say, well, are you really upset about losing your ring or something? Yes, I do, because I put it in my heart. So heart is, in my personal life, there is a Kaaba in my life as well. Like the Kaaba in Mecca is signifying oneness of the Creator as a physical location on earth so that I remember it. But in me, there's this, my Tawheed is my Kaaba, and it's being symbolized, if you like, by my heart. So this is what makes me like Quraysh. I am Quraysh now, and what makes me significant is how much I pay attention to protection of this house. Because this is distinguishing me from being an animal. Like animals apparently do not have such a sense of like consciousness at this level to appreciate their creator as we are supposed to do. So now, if I read it, إِلَى فِي قُرَيْشٍ إِلَى فِي رِحْلَةِ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ, then what are the journeys of winter and summer for me in my life? What is the journeys of winter and summer? If my heart is going to be my Kaaba, then what are my journeys of winter and summer? And it's a rihla, yeah.
Simple.
Right? Sometimes it's very cold. Sometimes it's hot and nice, but sometimes it's very cold. I go through journeys in life. Life itself is a journey. The Creator is saying that we go through this journey, but we are meant to. Like, we don't have any other option. We found ourselves in this journey. It's not like we take journeys by choice, really. Either, like, you take the journey, but sometimes the climate changes and you find yourself in summer, and sometimes you find yourself in winter. The Creator is the one who is changing the climate, isn't it? Like, do we change the climate? I mean, other than the climate change conversations. But winter and summer is being created for us. We found ourselves in it. Sometimes you find yourself in a successful situation. Sometimes, despite you preparing so much, you fail miserably in a certain portion of your life, right? But it says, إِلَى فِي رِحْلَةِ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Their protection, or their being made familiar in this journey for that reason. So the question is, am I being protected in this journey? What shall I understand from that? Or am I being made familiarized? Yes.
For me, it is like in your ups and downs, there is obvious lessons put into your ups and your downs. So if you take the moment and you think of the things you're being, I guess, reverted from, or the things you're being pushed toward, you can definitely think of it as a safeguard. Say maybe like you're going in the wrong direction, there's some sort of sign for you, or you're not feeling happy or content with your job, and you're thinking like, what is the source? So definitely there's a point of some sort of safeguarding and security that's consistently happening if you look at it that way. But I also think it's very easy to miss that point and just see it as and not really see that.
And especially if we apply to how it applied to Quraysh, like they were not being messed up with by other Arabs because they were the protectors of Kaaba. Like they were being respected because they are the guardians of Kaaba. So, and they take journeys in winter and summer and whatnot. People say, okay, you're from Quraysh. Okay, go ahead. We don't mess up with you. They have been, like people were being easygoing with them in their journeys. So in my journey, if I protect Kaaba, if I protect Tawheed in my life, I am going to be protected in my journeys. I'm going to have ups and downs in life. But when I'm in ups and downs in life, this is a threatening condition in both. Like when you're in a successful environment, what's the threat in there when you're successful?
So the way I'm thinking about it is that if everything is Tawheed centered, then even if you're successful, you don't attribute the success to yourself. You don't say, I did this. You thank Allah for it. And even in your downs, you thank Allah for whatever is that you don't see.
Yeah.
That is the protection you have.
Because when you're successful, it's very, very dangerous, right? When you're successful, you feel like, oh, I did it. And the moment I say I did it, I harmed Kaaba. Because then I started putting an idol. Who is the idol that I put there? Myself. Like my strength, my intellect, my youth, something that I put over there. So I immediately started attacking Kaaba myself. So, but if Kaaba is pure, Tawheed is pure in my life, then it's going to prevent me from falling into this threat of success as well. Success will come, and then I will be offering thanks to the Lord of the house. I will say that, oh, the Lord is maintaining the house. I'm not maintaining the house. I'm not maintaining, because you can take house. We'll get to house, but let's talk about house, because right next verse is going to be فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Therefore, worship the Lord of this house. Then the house becomes, like you become the house. You are one of the houses in this existence. Then you should worship the Lord of the house. Do not put yourself in this house as an idol to be worshipped. So I'm then going to find myself in there, and Iman is going to, like Tawheed, is going to save me from this threat. On the other hand, Shita, so now the winter happens. Something bad happens in my life. Down is happening in my life. So how do I receive protection from down in my life? With as much as I protect Kaaba, be the guardian of Tawheed in my life, then I will try to see the wisdom and message in what this down in my life is teaching. Because it happens that sometimes I take many things for granted. And being deprived of it is reminding me that, oh, I have been given in the first place. Or being deprived of something is reminding me of my neediness, which is taking me to seek refuge in Him. If I'm not deprived of, then I would start developing this sense of I am self-sufficient. I would start having this self-confidence, which is baseless. So Shita, winter in this case, as much as Tawheed is there, Tawheed is protecting me from the harms of Shita, the winter as well. So, but who is protecting? Is it me protecting myself, or I am being protected by the Lord of the house, both in like Tawheed? Due to Tawheed, my Creator is protecting me in a sense. My protection comes from protecting Tawheed in my life. But that's why at the very heart, very core, like Iman in Tawheed is so central. That's why Kaaba is so central in Islam. And in my heart, Tawheed in my Kaaba, in my heart, is going to be so central and needs to be protected and preserved so that it makes me worthy. Otherwise, I'm worthless. And yeah, there was one verse that I put here. أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do people think that they will be let go merely by saying we believe and that they will not be tested? This is from Surah Ankabut, the second verse. The Creator is saying that I am going to make you live in winter. Do you feel like by just saying that I believe you're going to be let go? It's not just a lip service. You will be, in order for you to really digest the benefits of winter, you are going to be lived through winter in your personal life, in your professional life, in your family life, in all the lives that you go through, so that you can truly benefit and realize the beauty of this Kaaba in your heart. Okay, so هذا البيت, we talked about this house. هذا البيت, this house is like, it's literally referring to Kaaba, but Kaaba being what's its symbol, we go back to our Kaaba. And there's a emphasis of رب هذا البيت. فليعبدوا, therefore worship رب هذا البيت. Do not worship the house, but worship the Lord of the house. Because we tend to worship the houses that we see rather than the maintainer, the sustainer of the house. So again, one example for the house would be your body is a house for you. And then I tend to start worshiping myself. Or this universe is a house. And then I start worshiping universe. What does this mean? I start saying that, oh, it is natural, things are happening, and I start attributing things to the nature itself. When it's about me, I start attributing things to myself, and I start worshiping myself, and expect people to worship myself as well. The question is, who is the Lord of this house too? Yes, you do observe the house, but who is the one that maintains the house? So do not get caught with the thing itself. And it's beautifully also matching with what Brother Birkan was highlighting about Kaaba. So Kaaba is not representing God. So we are not worshiping God as represented in Kaaba. Creator is saying that there's a Lord of this house. So this is not Lord himself. There's a Lord of this house. So worship the Lord of the house. Worship the Lord of the house in your heart, which is your heart as well. Because when it comes to heart, all those mixed feelings are going through heart as well. Like as your physical heart is pumping blood to your body, in your spiritual being, all these feelings that you have is centered at the spiritual organ, let's call it, as heart. Many ups and downs. It's the center of your spiritual being. Many things are going through that. Who is maintaining this heart? Like your physical heart is being maintained for sure. It's pumping so much blood every second. Who is maintaining all these mixtures of feelings in my spiritual being? Am I the maintainer of that? If I was, I wouldn't have mood swings. Or when I'm upset, I would be able to just switch it off. But I'm going through life and says, worship, therefore, the maintainer, sustainer, the Lord of this house. فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت. الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. Who provides them with food against hunger and with security against fear. الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. So Rabb al-Bayt is now being mentioned. Like, who is Rabb al-Bayt? Who is the sustainer, provider of this house? It must be the one who is feeding you from hunger and giving you security from fear. Now, let me ask you a question. Then, why is there emphasis of hunger and security from fear? Are they important problems in your life? What do you think? Hunger.
Eat.
Okay.
In life, like start perhaps maybe the most basic need as humans, and it's a good reminder that like even if you forage for food, even if you like cook the food or go to the
And what sort of hunger, what sort of fears do we have, Sister Zuri?
I was just gonna say, going off with Natalia said, like, hunger and fear, like, having those fulfilled might be, like, the easiest way to, like, misattribute, like, how those get fulfilled to something other than around, because I guess the fulfillment is like an immediate response of like physical hunger, like the food, like once I eat the food, there's like an immediate satiation. So I might say, well, the food is what is keeping me from hunger. And I guess like we could take this to sort of just test out to other types of hunger. Hunger for success or hunger, like ambition type of hunger. And I might think, oh, I'm the one who is working hard to attain this success. So it's actually me who's like feeding myself in that sense. Or in terms of fear, I might be scared of like different things like failure or just like material things. I might be afraid of like insects. So I'll find like a trap and say, oh, this trap is protecting me from like insects in my house. Or now that it's getting colder, there won't be as many bugs. And so that is protecting me. So I think there's a lot of things we can misattribute when these needs are fulfilled.
In chat, there's a message. Where is Yusuf? Oh, we cannot hear other people. She says, okay. I thought Mariam was going to tell me, why are you late? Oh, yes. Other people is a little far. Yeah, there's a fear. The security from fear of wife. Yeah. So, فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. So this hunger, many hungers in our lives, because stomach is the most like clear example. It's like an empty tank, and it's constantly in need of food to be provided. But there are many stomachs that you have. Like if you are sick and let's say you have to sleep for a week, your muscles are hungry for motion. Your eyes, if you close them for quite long, they are going to be yearning for light. If they put you in a, this isolation, your ears want to hear some noise. You just want to make some noise because your ears are yearning for their food. So who is providing all these? I take it, as Sister Zarian said, for granted, just it's nature. I make sound and my ears hear. Or I open my eyes and I see lights. I get food. When it comes to my heart is in need of sustenance as well. My heart is not happy with, I don't know, like I thought I would be okay if I get the degree. I thought my heart is going to be satisfied with this graduation. It was not. It was asking for more. And it never ends. So it looks like my heart is not going to be settling with anything that is finite. It's so hungry. So maintainer of this house is the one who can make it satisfied from this hunger. Nobody else really can give me security other than the maintainer of the house. Food, like eating an immense amount of like a huge camel. I'm not going to feel full if I eat a huge camel, because tomorrow I'm going to be hungry again. Okay, I ate it today, but how about tomorrow? So only the one who maintains this house can give me security from hunger, true hunger. And fear is so central for human life. We have all those anxieties. Fear looks to mostly future. We are afraid of things that are to happen, that can happen, potentially happen. It didn't happen. If it happened, you're not afraid of it anymore. I don't know if you probably, well, since your ages are about 10, you went through taking off your teeth, right? It is going back and forth. You didn't take it off yet, but you're super afraid it's going to hurt. And it's how it happened for me was it was going back and forth in my aunt's house, and I was it's going to hurt and whatnot. My aunt said, "Oh, let me look at it." She just pushed it. That was it. Like it's gone. It didn't hurt that much, and that was over. But the fear of what is to come was so debilitating. So insecurities, unknowns about the future is, and how am I going, will I be able to handle it? Or insecurities, unknowns about my future. Will I be able to get a job? Will my visa run out? Many insecurities in the future. So who can give me security from this fear? The maintainer of the house can give security from this. So in my life, who is the maintainer of the house? What was the house? The house is Tawheed in my life. So Tawheed in my life, I need to keep it pure. My whole life should be rotating around this Tawheed. I should be turning towards this Tawheed, whatever I am doing. I'm going to do a job, start a job, or form a family and whatnot. What is my compass? What is my qibla? In which direction am I going to establish this family up? Am I getting into this job, applying to this job? What is my direction in here? So am I doing it with like putting Kaaba at the center, putting Tawheed at the center, or putting some other idols in there as well? Yeah, I mean, job is good. And then, yeah, Muslims should be famous. Muslims in science should also be there, you know? Or like in computer science departments, we should also be represented by some good person. I start putting some sort of a fame in there. Just, it gets in there. A small idol somewhere, but just by the door, I put it, okay. So I pay tribute to this. So this is not going to save me from the fears. As I put other idols in there, fears will start getting into my life. Insecurities enter in my life. And now I will have to beg before them to feed me as well. Ibrahim alayhi salam left his wife and son in there and left. Was he fearful of them dying? Or was he aware that somebody who is going to feed them from jur, from the hunger, and it was a wilderness, so and wild animals can come and kill them. So there's this fear. Only with true Tawheed, I can have true reliance on the Creator and true security. So in my life, if I would like to be Quraysh, if now wrapping it up, it's going to be happening by protection of Tawheed in my life. And to the extent that I protect Tawheed in my life, Tawheed is going to protect me from the journeys of winter and summer, and it's going to make me saved from fear of, like security from fear and hunger. Anything you would like to add? Yes.
So it's very interesting, the Iman, the Amana, right? And the Have are put kind of in contrast. So if you have Iman, you don't have
Fear.
Fear. If you have fear, you don't have Iman, the security, right? Kind of. So, so going backward, Ta'am and then Jew, like you have, as you said, you can take it as you have needs, the hunger, need in general, and then sustenance. So you have this cycle of needing something and then being sustained, and you go through this journey all the time. You have needs and they are provided. You have needs and they are provided. And then again, going back to the journey of winter and the summer, taking it as changes in your life, up and downs, or in general changes, right? And the life is nothing but change. And for some reason, believer or unbeliever, you get somehow familiar with this change, like this change starts making sense to you. And depending on whether you are a believer or not, what you understand from this change, constantly changing life, you start either inventing some idols to protect you, to give you security, or you find the true sustainer of this system that you're living in. And this ayah is almost saying that within this life that constantly changing, you have this need and sustenance, the cycle constantly. So whatever you think is the rub of the sustainer of this life that you have, whatever you think, worship it. If you think that your job or your parents providing your needs, then worship them. But if you find the right true sustainer, you will have what? Iman, the security. If you are worshiping the wrong one, then you have fear. Because you take your job as the sustainer, and you say that, I have needs, yeah, I need, let's say, health. My job provides what? Health insurance. I need food. My job provides salary. So this is what I'm going to worship. But what happens? You start having this fear of losing your job. So the fear will always be there with these false idols that you think, allazi, that you think providing your needs. But when you are worshiping the true sustainer, the fear will not be there because you are worshiping the absolute the sustainer with infinite treasures, unending treasures, which will never end.
I guess then along the same lines, you can go back one verse before, then the journeys of winter and summer. So the things that you worship, would they protect you from those journeys in these journeys of winter and summer? Because since they do not, we are always trying to find new replacements. I thought so far my protector is going to be my advisor, or he failed me there. Then I'm trying to do networking to find somebody else who is going to replace this guy and whatnot. Then my whole life is just going from one place to another like a headless chicken. I'm trying to find some protector. And eventually, again, now reading it in the correct order, I find myself constantly in hunger for more networking, more protectors. Then I find myself in more and more of fear and lack of security. So this verse then overall is saying that, or whenever then I will recite this surah from now on, I should remind myself and question, where is Tawheed in my life? Is it at the center of my heart, center of my life? And whom do I put at my heart, which is Kaaba? Is it symbolizing oneness of the Creator, Tawheed, or did I put idols in my Kaaba? Around whom am I making tawaf? What is my qibla in my life? Is it Tawheed, or like when I'm going to make a decision, the litmus test is when I'm going to make a decision, what are being the priorities based on which I alter my decisions or I make my decision? So these could be a good reminder. Surah Al-Quraysh could be read in this context. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.